What if I told you that the richest footballer on the planet once cried himself to sleep because there was no food on the table? What if I told you that the man who owns a private Boeing 767 jet worth over $65 million used to walk barefoot through cobblestone streets on a tiny island most of you have never even heard of? And what if I told you that the same boy who was told he would never make it went on to break every single record in the history of football? Welcome to LUXVAULT. Today, we're not just talking about goals and trophies. Today, we're talking about an obsession so burning, so relentless, so completely uncommon that it turned a poor kid from Madeira, Portugal, into a $1 billion brand. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will not just admire Cristiano Ronaldo, you will understand him. February 5th, 1985. A baby boy is born in a small government hospital in Funchal, Madeira, a small volcanic island off the coast of Portugal. His parents named him Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro. His father, Jose, was a gardener who worked for the local city. His mother, Dolores, cleaned houses to keep the family alive. They had 4 children, 4 mouths to feed, 1 tiny house, and not enough of anything. Young Cristiano grew up in a house so small that his siblings all shared the same bedroom. There was no luxury, there was no comfort. There was barely enough to eat some nights. His father had one addiction that slowly destroyed the family: alcohol. Jose Aveiro spent money on drinking, and the family paid the price. But here is what nobody talks about. Instead of letting that pain crush him, Cristiano used it as fuel. Every single morning, while other kids slept in, this boy woke up before sunrise and kicked a ball against the walls of his neighborhood. In the rain, in the heat, in the wind. He didn't have expensive football boots. He played in whatever shoes his mother could find. He didn't have a coach. He learned by watching, by mimicking, by repeating until his feet bled. The kids in his neighborhood called him Crybaby because he hated losing so much that he would actually cry when his team lost a match. They laughed at him. They told him he was too emotional to be a footballer. But what they mistook for weakness was actually the fire that would one day burn the entire world of football to the ground. At the age of 8, he joined his first local club, Andorinha, named after swallows, the birds that migrate and never stay in one place. How fitting, because Ronaldo was never meant to stay small either. By the time he was 12 years old, something unusual was happening at Sporting CP, one of Portugal's biggest football academies. The scouts were talking about a boy from Madeira. He was fast, technically exceptional. But more than that, he had something you simply cannot coach. Something that no drill, no tactics board, no training session in the world can give you. He had desire. Sporting CP offered him a place in their youth academy in Lisbon. And here is where most people would cheer. But the reality? It broke his heart at first. He was 12 years old. He had to leave his mother, leave his siblings, leave the only island he had ever known and move to a big city entirely alone. He arrived in Lisbon with an accent so thick from Madeira that the other kids mocked him openly. They laughed at how he spoke. They excluded him from conversations. Some called him names. He cried at night. He called his mother and begged to come home. Dolores Aveiro, a woman who had worked her entire life scrubbing other people's floors, told her son something that would change everything. She said, "You go back to that field and you show them who you are. Not with your mouth, with your feet." He listened. By the age of 16, Sporting CP's senior team was so impressed that they broke protocol, something almost unheard of in professional football, and fast-tracked him straight into the first team. Not the under-17, not the reserves. The first team. In just one match, he played against Manchester United in a preseason friendly, and in just 90 minutes, the United players were so dazzled, so completely undone by this 16-year-old kid with explosive pace and frightening skill, that after the match they went to their manager, Sir Alex Ferguson, and demanded he sign this boy immediately. Sir Alex bought Cristiano Ronaldo for £12 million. He was 18 years old. He had never owned anything worth more than a bus ticket. The chapter of legends was now open. When Ronaldo arrived at Manchester United in 2003, he wore the number 7 shirt. That number had previously been worn by legends George Best, Eric Cantona, David Beckham. The weight of that shirt would have collapsed most teenagers. Ronaldo wore it like it was made for him. But success didn't come overnight. Those first 2 seasons, pundits questioned whether he was all skill and no substance. Too flashy, too selfish, too obsessed with tricks over goals. Sir Alex Ferguson saw something different. He protected this kid. He mentored him. He pushed him. And Ronaldo responded the only way he knew how, by working harder than anyone else on the training ground. Players who trained with him in those years all say the same thing. He was always the last to leave the pitch. Always. Then came 2007 to 2008. That year, Cristiano Ronaldo became something beyond human. He scored 42 goals in a single season, in all competitions. As a winger, he won the Premier League, he won the Champions League, he won the Ballon d'Or, the world's greatest individual prize in football. He was 23 years old. That same year, Manchester United paid him a salary that made headlines across Europe. He was officially the highest paid player in England. But here's what made that era special. It wasn't the money. It wasn't the trophies. It was the discipline. During his United years, Ronaldo began developing a lifestyle regimen that would become the stuff of legend. He slept in 4 90-minute nap cycles instead of one long sleep, maximizing his body's recovery. He followed a diet of fish, salads, and zero alcohol. Zero. While his teammates were at clubs on weekends, Ronaldo was in the gym at midnight. While other players were aging, Ronaldo was engineering his body like a machine. He was not just a footballer, he was a scientist of performance, and the world was only just beginning to see what he was building. In the summer of 2009, Real Madrid, the most famous football club on earth, made a move that stunned the entire sporting world. They paid £80 million for Cristiano Ronaldo. At the time, it was the most expensive transfer in human history. The entire football world stopped and stared. And what happened next? He repaid every single penny, 10 times over. The 9 years Ronaldo spent at Real Madrid were not just a career chapter. They were a complete rewriting of football history. Let these numbers sink in slowly. He scored 450 goals for Real Madrid in just 438 appearances. More goals than games. No other player in history has done this at a club of that level. Ever. He won the Champions League 4 times with the club and scored in the final on 3 of those occasions. When the pressure was highest, when the lights were brightest, he delivered. He won 4 Ballon d'Or awards during his Real Madrid years, making him a 5-time World Player of the Year. He became the Champions League's all-time top scorer, a record that will take someone extraordinary to break. He scored in El Clásico, the biggest club rivalry in world football, more than any other player in history. He scored bicycle kicks in Champions League finals that referees gave standing ovations for. He delivered hat tricks against the best teams in the world when Real Madrid needed 3 points and had no other plan. But beyond the numbers, beyond the trophies and the records, there is a story that every Wealth Vault viewer needs to hear. In 2011, Ronaldo scored a last-minute winner for Real Madrid and ran to the corner flag. He didn't celebrate with his teammates. He sat down on the grass alone, and he cried, not tears of joy, tears of relief. The cameras caught it. The world watched. Reporters asked him afterward, "Why were you crying? You just scored the winner." He said, "Because I work so hard, and sometimes I wonder if it is ever enough." That is the real Ronaldo. The records are spectacular, but the sacrifice behind them? That is what separates a great player from a once-in-a-century icon. Now this is the part Wealth Vault was made for. Because Cristiano Ronaldo did not just earn money playing football, he built an empire. Let's break down exactly how he turned talent into a business machine that most CEOs would envy. The Nike deal. In 2016, Ronaldo signed a lifetime sponsorship deal with Nike, reported to be worth over $1 billion. Not a season, not a decade, a lifetime deal. Nike essentially said, "We will pay you forever to be who you already are." That single contract alone made him one of the very few athletes to achieve billionaire status while still actively competing the CR7 brand. Ronaldo built his personal brand, CR7, into a global lifestyle empire. This is not just a name on a shirt. CR7 is now a full fashion and lifestyle brand covering underwear, fragrances, denim, footwear, and hotels. Yes, Hotels Pastana CR7 Hotels. In partnership with the Pastana Hotel Group, Ronaldo co-owns a chain of boutique luxury hotels. The first opened in Funchal, Madeira, his hometown. The same island people told him to leave and never return to. He went back, and he built a five-star hotel on it. There are now CR7 hotels in Funchal, Lisbon, Madrid, and New York. Each one decorated with his personal aesthetic, sleek, modern, powerful, and unapologetically luxurious. The perfume empire. Most athletes release one or two fragrances. Ronaldo built an entire perfume line: CR7, Legacy, Play It Cool, Courage. He markets them personally, and his fragrance business generates tens of millions in revenue annually. Social media as a business. Here is something that will completely change how you think about Ronaldo. He has over 900 million followers across Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube combined. He is the most followed human being in the history of the internet. Every sponsored post he publishes on Instagram is estimated to earn between $3 and $4 million. A single photo, one image, $3 million. Brands pay him because his audience is not just large, it is loyal. His followers don't just scroll past his content, they buy what he recommends. He essentially turned his entire life into a media channel. His total net worth sits comfortably above $600 million. And by the time his playing career ends and his full brand operation runs without the distraction of football training analysts, he crosses $1 billion in assets within years. Not bad for a boy who once had no shoes. Now let's talk about what the money actually looks like. Because WealthVault doesn't just talk about numbers in bank accounts. We talk about the life those numbers build. The private jet. Ronaldo owns a Gulfstream G200 and has previously operated a Boeing 767 that was customized with full flat beds, a private dining area, and branded interiors. The jet is not just a vehicle, it is a statement. When he travels from Saudi Arabia to his properties in Europe, he does it in the sky, in silence, surrounded by family. No airport lines, no waiting, just departure at will. The car collection. His garage is what dreams are made of. He owns a Bugatti Veyron, once the fastest road-legal car ever produced. A Bugatti Chiron, its successor, capable of 304 miles per hour. A Rolls-Royce Phantom in matte black. A Ferrari Monza SP1. A McLaren Senna. A Lamborghini Aventador. A custom Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon. The total estimated value of his car collection exceeds $20 million. He doesn't collect cars as trophies, he drives them. The man lives in the cars he owns, the way he lives on every pitch, fully, presently, and with total commitment. The properties. His primary residence in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, is reported to be one of the most secure and lavish private compounds in the city. In Portugal, he maintains a stunning villa in Cascais, a coastal paradise outside Lisbon. He has previously owned penthouses in New York and Madrid. Combined real estate portfolio, estimated above $30 million. The watches. Ronaldo's watch collection is worth more than most people's houses. He wears Jacob and Comer pieces with diamond dials that cost upward of $2 million per piece. He has been photographed with Frank Muller, Rolex Daytona, and bespoke timepieces created exclusively for him, the family. And here WealthVault pauses on the money, because the most important luxury Ronaldo has built is one that money alone cannot guarantee. He has 4 children, and his partner, Georgina Rodriguez, has become one of the most followed women in the world in her own right. His family travels with him everywhere. His mother, Dolores, the same woman who scrubbed floors, now lives in a beautiful home that Ronaldo built for her. He once said in an interview, "Everything I have, I built for the people who believed in me when I had nothing." That is the real definition of luxury, not the jet, not the Bugatti. It is the ability to look at everyone who suffered alongside you and say, never again. Let us close the football chapter not with emotion, but with cold, undeniable historical fact. Cristiano Ronaldo is the all-time leading scorer in international football history. He has surpassed every player from every generation, every nation, every era. The record stands at over 130 goals for Portugal and counting. He is the only player in history to have scored in 5 separate FIFA World Cups. 5. Across 20 years of international football, he is the Champions League's all-time top scorer with over 140 goals in the competition, a record that no active player is close to breaking. He won 5 UEFA Champions League titles across 2 clubs. He won the European Championship with Portugal in 2016, the country's first and only major international trophy. The final? He got injured in the first 20 minutes. He watched from the sidelines with tears streaming down his face, shouting instructions to his teammates. They won. And when the final whistle blew, he crumbled to the ground and sobbed, not with disappointment, but with pure joy for his nation. He has won the Premier League, La Liga, and Serie A, making him one of the very few players in history to win league titles in 3 separate countries. He has won the Ballon d'Or 5 times. He has scored over 900 career goals across all competitions for club and country. No human being in the professional era of football has ever reached that number. Let that sit with you. 900 goals, each one earned, each one worked for, each one a statement against every person who ever doubted him. Here is the part of the Ronaldo story that most luxury content never covers. The man gives back, quietly, consistently, and without needing a camera to do it. He has donated blood multiple times and publicly refuses to have any tattoos specifically because tattoo ink prevents blood donation. And he said he would rather give blood than have tattoos on his skin. He funded surgeries for children in his native Madeira who could not afford medical care. He donated over 1 million euros to earthquake relief in Morocco after the disaster of 2023, helping to fund emergency response and shelter. He paid for the complete education of a young boy whose father had died in a car accident. He regularly visits hospitals, children's wards, and community organizations, not for press coverage, but because the boy who had nothing never forgot what it felt like to need someone. His brand, his platform, and his fortune have been used to build football academies, fund charities, and support youth sports programs. The legacy of Cristiano Ronaldo is not a trophy cabinet. It is a generation of children on every continent who grew up watching a man prove that where you come from does not determine where you are going. The legacy is millions of young people who woke up at 6 a.m. to train because they watched Ronaldo do it first. The legacy is the footballer from a poor island who showed the world that discipline, obsession, and an absolute refusal to accept limitation can outperform every privilege, every connection, and every advantage that life could offer someone else. Cristiano Ronaldo was not born into money. He was not given a shortcut, a scholarship, or a lucky break. He was given one thing, a hunger. And he used that hunger every single morning for over 20 years to build something that the world had never seen before. A billion-dollar brand, a legacy carved in stone, a name that will be spoken long after every stadium that held him has been torn down and rebuilt. If you watch this entire video, you already understand something that most people never learn. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not talent. It is not connections. It is not luck. It is the decision made quietly, daily, and without applause to outwork everyone around you. That is the Ronaldo formula. That is the Wealth Vault lesson. If this video moved you even a little, hit that like button right now. Share it with someone who needs to hear this story today, and tell us in